Hello viewers, this is Professor Hassan. In this video, I would like to discuss the radiance regimes reaching to a satellite sensor. Consider that sunlight falls on the Earth's surface and bounces back to a sensor. In this case, the atmosphere of the Earth regulates the incoming and outgoing energy. When sunlight falls on the atmosphere, three phenomena may take place, such as scattering, absorption, and transmission. Due to scattering, sunlight can be reflected in the upward direction and recorded by a sensor that I call path 1. Also, the sunlight can be reflected in the downward direction to the ground and reflected in the sensor's direction that I call path 2. Now, portion of the sunlight can be absorbed by the atmosphere that emits thermal energy in two paths. One goes in the upward direction, reaching to the sensor that I call path 3. The other one goes in the downward direction to the ground and then reflected to the sensor that I call path 4. Upon having both scattering and absorption, the remaining sunlight, depending on the atmospheric conditions, transmits through the atmosphere and hit the Earth's surface. In this case, three phenomena may take place. Firstly, a portion of the light is reflected to the sensor that I call path 5. Secondly, Earth's surface absorbs portion of the light, then emits thermal energy towards the sensor that I call path 6. Thirdly, we may assume that the transmitted energy through the Earth's surface doesn't reach to the sensor. Now, if we consider the surrounding area is flat, then the so far described 6 paths are the radiance regimes reaching to the satellite sensor. If this is not the case, then the adjacent topography inclined to the pixel of interest plays a role. For example, when sunlight falls here, then a portion of the light is reflected towards the pixel, then again reflected to the sensor that I call path 7. Also, portion of the incident light is absorbed that emits thermal energy towards the pixel and then reflected to the sensor that I call path 8. Here we again assume that the transmitted energy through the Earth's surface doesn't reach to the sensor. Now the paths 1, 2, 5 and 7 are reflected ones denoted by the solid lines that are recorded by an optical sensor operating in the range 0.4 to 2.5 micrometer. Among these, path 5 is the strongest one, followed by 1, 2 and 7. On the contrary, the paths 3, 4, 6 and 8 are emitted ones denoted by the dashed lines that are recorded by a thermal sensor operating in the range 3 to 14 micrometer or a passive microwave sensor operating mostly in the range 0 to 100 centimeter. Among these, path 6 is the strongest one, followed by 3, 4 and 8. For your convenience, I have included a brief description of all the paths as well. Hoping you have enjoyed and learned the topic to a mastery level. Thank you very much for watching.